From warrior to warrior. Now, those are two different words. The one is WORRIER, and the other one is WARR and RIOR. Forgive me, I have a challenge with this, and we're gonna find out what's the difference between the two, warrior to warrior. This is Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject that they are passionate about. And we always have a great time because we always have great guests. And I can promise you that today's guest is a great guest. His name is known as Martin Salama. And he's published a book that is the one I'm having a challenge of pronouncing, but he's going to help us how to go about this. And he's going to tell us all about it. And because this is Now Tell Us, I'm not going to speak much because we have someone who's going to come and tell us all about that. Warrior to warrior. So why don't you join me to go and meet Martin? But before we go, please remember to share this episode with all your friends. If you have a comment, we appreciate feedback. So we're going to read it if it's live. If it's already the recorded version, we still appreciate you. And if you have a question, please ask. We'll try our level best to answer it. Like, for example, how do you differentiate from warrior to warrior? Let's go to the episode to meet Martin. Here we go. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Anthony. So excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to have you on my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, many may not know where we are coming from, but we've known each other for quite some time. And then today is when we are having an opportunity to come together in the same episode.
Right. And I'm so excited. When I realized that I was going to be on this, I was like, oh, my friend Anthony, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, and always my viewers are curious. Where are these people from? Where are you from? Where
I
are you
am
right
from Brooklyn, New York.
now? Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Today's a very somber day here, and it's 9/11.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things going on around Brooklyn and Manhattan today in honor and commemorating the loss of so many people 22 years ago. So we should start by just mentioning for a moment, having those people in mind that we've lost, not just on 9/11, but many people who died afterwards, who were working in the area or living in the area, who developed illnesses and died and got sick as a result. So just take a moment to have a moment of silence for them.
Sure, let's do it.
So yeah, it's an important thing for us to always remember that terror and hatred will never prevail in this world. Love and caring and peace will always be the greatest thing.
Yeah, and it's a message that everyone should get to hear. That it's important when we have peace. It's important that we are the active people who are going to make sure that that peace is enjoyed all over.
Right.
And if you are in a position to just keep peace or to prevent some violence anywhere, then take that action.
Exactly right.
And
Exactly
thank
right.
you for reminding us that.
Yes. No
Hmm.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into what's going on here today.
Yeah, what's going on? Even before we go there, and it's good that you mentioned that. And I'm going to ask you. This is Martin Salama. I come from Kenya. We speak Swahili. Do you have an idea what Salama means?
In Swahili?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know what it means in Arabic, which is also part of Hebrew,
Hmm.
it means welcome.
Welcome. Salama.
Salama.
Now, Swahili has an influence of Arabic, but in Swahili it means safe.
Wow. Thank you so much for telling me that.
So we are
Well,
safe here.
you're definitely in a safe space with me.
Okay, we are happy. Yeah, despite the fact that we are remembering those people who didn't have a very safe day,
Yes.
we are safe and we are preaching safety and
Yes.
peace everywhere.
Yes.
Thank
Absolutely.
you for coming to our show, Salama. Now, what is it that you do? Because I know you, but my listeners and my viewers don't have an idea. Who's this man and why is he? What is that?
Right.
What does he do?
So you referred to a little bit of it before about my book,
Yeah.
Warrior to Warrior. So I help people go from being worried all the time to being a warrior, strong within themselves and know that they can conquer anything. Because
Okay.
somebody who worries, thank you for putting that up there, someone who worries is thinking, oh, the sky is falling, everything is terrible, woe is me, without trying to come up with a solution. A warrior who looks at problems and says he's concerned about them instead of being worried is willing to figure out how to make those things happen in a positive way. Whatever's going on,
Mhm.
figure out a solution. So that's why you go from being a warrior to a warrior. So as a life coach, I help people shift their mindset from lack to abundance, but on a deeper level, from self conscious to self aware.
Well, that's very good. Don't we all need someone who's reminding us and showing us the way from that to that, from
Right.
our worst position to our best position?
Right.
And how did this come into you, or where did you get started on this journey, this path? Was it an influence? Is it something you experienced?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So for me, it started in 2008.
Yeah.
Okay. My wife and I were working on a project for 5 years by then to build a multi-million dollar tennis club and health center in New Jersey.
Mm.
And it took us 5 years because we had to go find the land, we had to do feasibility study, we had to do many other things to prepare and then go to the bank and then go to engineers, architects, and then the city and get their approval to build this
Hmm.
thing that was going to be over $15 million to build.
Mm.
So it took us 5 years. Now, if we had taken us 3 or 4 years, in 2006 to 2007, the banking industry was such that they were lending money like it was water, like they were
Hmm.
giving it away.
Hmm.
So for me, it happened to be that it was 2008. And I go into the bank, I go, great, we've gotten all the approvals now, we're ready to go. And the bank says, yeah, we're not lending right now. Things are slowing down. I'm like, but last year you said you would be ready. Well, that was last year. This
Hmm.
is this year. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? A month later, the financial world fell apart.
Hmm.
Bernie Madoff, the subprime loans, the world was upside down financially in
Hmm.
September of 2008, just 15 years ago, right around now.
Yeah.
And because I had put all my cards on the table, I put all my money into this project and
Hmm.
gambled and took a risk, I lost it all.
Whoa.
Just like that, I was broke. I stopped paying my mortgage. I stopped paying my car payments. A few months later, my son says, Dad, look outside. They're towing away your car. And there went my BMW.
Hmm.
And that never happened to me before because I was never in that position.
Hmm.
Eventually, they foreclosed on my home. And I was in a bad place for about a year, depressed, very sad, not knowing what was going to happen. Thank goodness we lived in New Jersey, and at the time, and the state had so many foreclosures that it took them many years before they finally took the house away from us.
Hmm.
But it was not a good thing, and it took me a year of depression, of getting through it and understanding. I went through some therapy and some coaching to realize, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do next. I've
Hmm.
been a businessman my whole life, and I've been making business crazy decisions, ups and downs. And I never loved doing that. I said, well, now I have to reinvent myself. What should I do?
Hmm.
And I looked into myself and I said, well, let me think about this. I've always been involved in community events,
Mm-hmm.
and and I was a leader. I was somebody who people came to for advice, and I loved doing that. I loved being a leader, and I realized I was not just giving them advice; I was coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Oh, that's interesting. I've gotten coached in the past. Let me look into becoming a life coach."
Mm-hmm.
And I started down the road, found the idea of where I wanted to go. And about 2 months before I was going to start life coaching training, my wife of 24 years on our 24th wedding anniversary said, "I'm done. I want a divorce."
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh my God, everything keeps happening to me." And then I said, "Okay, now what am I going to do? I still want to go through with what I'm doing. I still want to become a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to go down that road." And I opened myself up to saying, well, maybe this is God giving me a message saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you want to become a life coach? Maybe you need to work on yourself a little bit and figure out, why is your wife divorcing you? Why did you lose all that money? Whatever else is going on. Where are your emotions taking you in your life?"
Mm-hmm.
So I went into that first weekend of coach training, and I said, "Okay, I'm ready. Tell me where to go." And they said, "Read some books." And they gave me a book. One was called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Anthony, you know that book?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it.
Right. So the second agreement is said, don't take anything personally. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. I've always taken everything personally. I've always put the world on my shoulders. And when someone came to me with a problem, it was my job to get it done. I was a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I need to change some of those things. And I started to learn by going through coach training the things that weren't serving me. And they said to me, you don't have to be who you think you have to be. You could be whoever you want to be. So I was like, wow. So the first thing for me was to realize that, as somebody who I just realized was been a people pleaser my whole life,
Yeah.
I need to take care of myself first, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, and then worry about my children or my family or friends, and then do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Be me first. It's like when you go on the airplane and they tell you to put the mask on you first, right? Because how could you put the mask on somebody if you don't have your control of yourself?
Exactly.
Put the mask on you first, and then you
Yeah.
put the mask on others. It's the same thing in life. Use
Mm-hmm.
that same idea. Take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of everybody else.
Mm.
And I realized that my worrying had kept me from moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that worrying was me looking to blame everybody else for the problems that had happened in my life. I lost all that money. My wife asked for a divorce. Everything like that. Oh, it's everybody else's fault. So
Mm.
it's time for me to recognize, where am I responsible for what's going on? What have
Mm-hmm.
I done? And recognize that I have to change that worrying into looking for the positives. And instead of saying, why does everything happen to me? Everything happens through me. It's
Mm.
because of what I put out there that things happen.
Mm. Wow, it's because of what we put out there that things happen. And it's a good point that you stress there, because I had someone say, and that's the truth. It's the same energy that you're going to spend on worrying yourself out is the same time, the same energy that you should be using to make decisions, to think positively, to look for ideas that can move you from where you are to where you want to be.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And how has the journey been so far, up to this point?
Oh, the
Like,
journey has been
before we
fantastic.
come, before we come to your book that you
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
recently published.
So the journey's been fantastic. Once
Mm,
I made that decision, become a life coach, things started to change for me, because I started to become more self aware.
mm,
Whereas before, I was self conscious. And I always thought I was self aware. But
mm-hmm.
I come to realize that there's a big difference between the two.
What
And
is
I
it?
talk about it in the book, but
Okay.
I've also created what you see here, a card deck,
Mm,
right? Which is just little snippets of what I talk about in the book.
mm-hmm.
And one of the cards is called self
So,
aware versus self conscious.
yeah.
So, can I read a little bit of that card?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, self consciousness comes from a place of negative energy, guilt, conflict, self doubt. Self consciousness is more outward directed. It is being more concerned about what others are thinking of you and how the situation is going to affect you. You
Mm.
probably react to uncomfortable situations instead of respond. When you're self conscious, you're questioning your decisions. There's a little more to it, but you get it. And self awareness comes from a positive energy, acceptance, contentment, self assuredness. Self awareness is more inward facing. You have an accurate and realistic understanding of how you are responding to situations and how you feel about things. So for me, it was me understanding that when I'm self conscious, what I thought was self aware is really self conscious, is that I'm worried about what everybody else is thinking. I'm
Mm.
thinking about my ego. I'm being
Mhm.
a people pleaser, all those things. And I needed to understand that it doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking. As long
Yeah.
as I believe I'm doing the right thing, that's all that matters.
Mm.
So
That's deep.
now that I understood this, I wanted to show other people how to do the same thing.
Hmm. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So it doesn't matter what is all happening all around. What is going to matter in the final end is what's happening inside. Don't be conscious, be aware.
That's
That's
it.
beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now let's come to the book.
Okay.
How did it come to be?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How did that come to be? The book.
Oh, how did the book come to be?
Yeah.
So for a bunch of years, I was coaching. All
Mm.
right. Originally, when I first became a life coach, I was a divorce recovery coach, helping people recover from the emotional pains of going through divorce and the ups
Mhm.
and downs, the roller coaster, and all those things. And it made sense because the best coaches coach from their own experience.
Yeah.
So I realized that coaching had helped me get through my divorce
Hmm.
and become a better person on the other side, to the point that I look at my old self as Martin 1.0 and my new self as Martin 2.0, because
Hmm.
I'm a new person. And you know what? Who knows? There may be a 3.0 and a 4.0 down the road. But
You
right
never
now, I'm
know.
in the 2.0 area, as long as I'm improving, you know?
Yeah.
So I
You.
started with that.
Yeah.
And a few years into it, I was loving what I was doing. I was
Mm.
loving where I was in my life. I had finally understood that all those years, one of the reasons I didn't want to get divorced was because I was afraid no one would ever love me.
Mhm.
And what I came to realize is the reason I felt that was because I didn't love myself. I didn't like myself. So
Mm.
of course I would think no one would love me. If I don't like me, why should anybody else? You
Mm.
know? So I started to believe in myself and believe, and I changed those things that were bad for me. I said I was a people pleaser. For me, what came with that was many other things.
Mm.
Uh, People pleaser. I was a control freak. I took everything personally, as I told you before. And
Yeah.
worst of all, and then also, I needed recognition. I wanted everybody to recognize, hey, Martin, you're doing a great job.
Mhm.
And then, worst of all, when all those things weren't happening, I had a very short temper and I would get very upset. I would react to
Mhm.
everything, overreact, even like a nuclear reactor, and I would blow up and then I would have fallout all over the place. And I'd
Yeah.
go back and I'd apologize to everybody. I'm so sorry, Anthony, I did that. But you know, Anthony, you got me going. You started it. That's not an apology.
It's not. It's not. And it's
Right.
always the other person who's doing it.
Right, exactly. It was me blaming everybody else.
Mm.
So I started to change that and I started to fall in love with myself and like myself, which is different things. Falling in love and liking are two different things, you
Tell
know?
us. Tell us.
So for me, loving yourself means that it's in your soul,
Yeah.
right? It's your spirituality.
Mhm.
Liking yourself is more of the physical part of it.
Mm.
You know, I look good, I feel good, and all those things.
Mhm.
So now I was ready to start dating, and I would go out on dates. And one of the things I learned going through coaching was that, values are very important. And before that,
Mm.
I never really understood what my values were.
Mhm.
And I learned through coaching that my values and my first wife's values were totally different.
Mm.
And that's probably why we were in a codependent relationship. There are
Mm.
many other things as well,
Mhm.
but that's one of the foundations of it. So I would
Mhm.
go out on these dates and I would talk to these women and ask them questions about their values without them realizing I was interviewing them to see if our values were similar.
Mhm.
And one day I went on a date, and this woman was checking off all the boxes. All of our values were very closely aligned. We went
Yeah.
out again, we went out again. And about a month later, I realized our values were so well aligned. I was falling in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I have to tell you, and you don't have to say it back, but I'm falling in love. And 2 weeks later, she said the same thing to me because I said to her,
Mm-hmm.
I love who you are. And I love that you see me as I am and you're not trying to change me.
Mm.
Because very often people get into relationships. Well, I don't like that about him. I'll try to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, I started to realize that loving my life was such a great thing. So I put together a program with the word life.
Mm.
And for me, life is an acronym for live incredibly full every day.
Mm.
And
Live
that means,
grateful every day. Yeah.
right, that means having a happy life and
Mm-hmm.
a meaningful life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be happy with no meaning. Happy is selfish, self-love, selfless.
Yeah.
Self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Meaningful is selfless, going out there and doing for others.
Yeah.
So it's having both in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one is not bad. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to take care of yourself. Women out there, it's okay to have self-love and self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Men, it's okay to be vulnerable and let the other people in.
Mm. Wow. So we are getting deeper into the book.
Yeah, this is
Deeper.
all in the book, baby.
Yes, that's the book. So it's talking about the 7 steps to uncover the warrior within and live incredibly full every day, and that's live live, live
Right,
incredibly full every day.
right.
Uh, would you be willing to give us the 7 steps as they are in order, or would you just want us to go and
Sure.
find out for ourselves from the book?
No, 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 no. I'll give you a teaser. I'll give you a little hint. It's
Okay,
another card in the deck because it's also part of my book.
uncover.
And it's 7 steps to the word uncover, okay, is an
Mhm.
acronym.
Uncover.
UNCOVER. So I'll
Yeah.
go over the 7 steps.
Okay.
You unlock and unleash.
Mm-hmm.
Unlock what's keeping you stuck and unleash the frustration you're holding on to so you can start your journey. N. Navigate how your emotional roller coaster is holding you back. C. Choose the values that are most important in your life. Remember, we talked about values.
Mm-hmm.
O. Obtain the tools you need to correctly respond in all situations. I went from being a reactor to a responder.
Mm-hmm.
V. Visualize who you want to be from here on out. Maybe make a vision board or whatever the things are that you need to have in front of you so that you could see who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
E. Embrace the new life you're enjoying in creating and enjoy your endless potential.
Mm.
And then R. Reclaim your strong, confident, and happy life to live incredibly full every day.
That's good. Thank you for the uncover.
Thank you.
We appreciate.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So, how big is this book?
How big is this book? This book
Uh-huh.
is about 200, a little less than 200 pages.
Okay, that's
Right?
good. It's good.
Yeah, it's
So,
not too long, but it's got a
yeah,
lot of great information. And
yeah.
what
Mhm.
I did in the front of the book, right after the table of context, there's a QR code.
Okay.
You scan that, and it will give you the success activities to download to use while you're using the book, to write down and change those things you feel you need to change so that you can move forward in your life.
Yeah, because change is inevitable. You've got to accept that when things are not going the way you would want them to go, then what is lacking is a change. And you've got
Right?
to make that decision and take that action towards where you want to go. And
Right?
you've shared quite many things here that are of great value to us, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one of the things that we are getting here is from the experience that you have had in your own life. then you come out with this wisdom that you're willing to share back to the world. It's interesting how people who go through things come out with great wisdom. Many don't share it, but
Wisdom comes from experience, right,
yeah,
Anthony?
wisdom comes from experience. Many don't share it, so when you've chosen to share it with us, we really appreciate you and what you're doing.
It's my honor. And if
Hmm.
I can touch one person, then I've done my job.
It's beautiful. I believe you've touched so many people up to now, from the time that I got to know you, and even from this point onward, as they go and get your book and read it and also
Thank you.
interact with you, then you're going to help quite many.
Fantastic. Thank you
Now,
so much.
there could be someone who's here who's listening and is interested to follow up with Martin Salama because he or she is going to be safe.
That's
Now,
right.
how do they do that?
So I made it very simple. I came up with a website called connectwithmartin.com.
Okay, connect
You
with
go
Martin.
there,
Mm-hmm,
connectwithmartin.com. You
mm-hmm,
can buy my book, you can buy the cards, you can make an appointment to meet with me so we can have a little bit of a breakthrough session maybe. There are free gifts on there. Like, how about if I give them 7 steps to an abundant life mindset, warrior mindset,
mm-hmm,
abundant warrior mindset? And we do it in a way that it's a coloring book,
mm-hmm.
either for children or for adults.
Yeah.
Go there and download it, and you can get the coloring book for free.
Even
Connectwithmartin.com.
connectwithmartin.com. I hope I got it right. Check it out.
Yeah,
Connectwithmartin.com.
perfect. Not
Yeah.
hard. It's
Well,
crazy. Then all those things, blah, 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 blah. I made it easy.
that's very
Connectwithmartin.com.
easy. Connectwithmartin.com. Well, that tempts me to go and make one connectwithanthony.com.
That's right. You should.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to connect, to get people to
It's all
connect.
right. I'll wait for my commission check after you do that.
Okay, I'll remember you. I'll remember you. And we're gonna meet sometime soon. I know.
That's right. That's right.
You'll be with me.
I have to come out to Greece and see you.
I'll make it in cash, not a check.
I'm coming faster now.
Okay, you're most welcome. Looking forward to that. Now, to all people who are watching us or listening to us, this is Now Tell Us, and we are glad to have Martin Salama here with us. And it's been a very good episode, and I know you've enjoyed it. Please remember to share it with all your friends. We haven't seen a comment or a question, but we can expect that when you go to connectwithmartin.com. Can't forget that. Uh, it's a time to let Martin go. But before he goes, we always, and he shared so much, but we always love to release you, leaving us with a few words that we should always remember.
Yeah.
Which are
Okay. So, yeah. So, how about if I tell you how I start my day? And this could be a way for other people to start their day.
they? Go ahead.
Wake up in the morning and write down in a nice notebook, not just a flimsy one, like a nice moleskin or something like that. 3 things you're grateful for. 3 things you have gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, and every day it could be something different, and it could be something simple like "Thank you for letting me wake up today," whatever, and build on that gratitude for the rest of the day in your soul. And then come up with a mantra that means something to you. For me, my mantra is I live incredibly full every day. Come up with something. I don't take things personally. Whatever it is, I am going to have a wonderful day. And now you're setting yourself up for good things, for opportunities, and looking for opportunities instead of searching for the problems that everybody tries to do.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
And it's good that you mentioned searching for the problems because many people are always looking for that.
Yeah.
um,
I don't know why.
I wasn't going to mention this, but someone is watching this episode and trying to see where's the mess. What's not going right?
Listen, there's definitely things not going right. For example, I couldn't connect on my Facebook. It wouldn't let me. But who
Yeah,
cares? We're having a good time anyway.
yeah, exactly. I couldn't pronounce warrior, and I changed it from warrior to warrior, but then I could bring forward Martin. Yeah, so that's how to differentiate.
Exactly. Listen,
I
my New
think,
York accent screws it up too.
Wow, wow, it's been wonderful. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Anthony.
Martin. I appreciate you coming to Now Tell Us. It's been an honor hosting you here.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here.
Yeah, so we've come to the end of today's show. And Now Tell Us, this has been your host, Anthony Morore, and together with our guest today, Martin Salama Safe. And we are saying, uh, live incredibly full
Full every day.
every day
That's it.
and stay safe.
Stay safe.
Thank you and bye.